The day Iris disappeared, the neighbours claimed they heard nothing. No screams, no breaking glass, not even footsteps. Only the faint clink of porcelain, like small fingers tapping in celebration. 3 days later, Iris's cousin Rowan arrived to settle the estate. He expected old furniture, dust, and grief. He didn't expect the dolls. They filled every shelf in perfect rows, their polished faces shining despite years of neglect. The house felt too still, like every sound he made was swallowed by 100 tiny throats unable to speak. Rowan found Iris's suitcase in the foyer, half unzipped, clothes neatly folded, as though she'd simply stepped away. But the deeper he walked into the house, the more something felt organized, intentional. In the living room, the dolls faced the doorway as though greeting him. In the hallway, a group of smaller ones formed a circle around a patch of floor, their heads bowed, and on the workshop table lay the new doll, its porcelain face eerily shaped like Iris's, the same brown eyes, the same small smile that looked almost too real. Rowan felt a jolt of recognition so sharp it made his breath hitch. Something had happened here, something terrible. He searched the workshop for clues and found his aunt's old journal stuffed in a drawer beneath scraps of lace and string. The entries were frantic, written in a slanted hand that grew more unstable as the pages went on. "Memories should never die," she wrote. "People forget too easily. The dolls remember. They hold what we lose." Later entries became even more desperate. "A vessel must match the soul. A life poured into porcelain will live longer than flesh." And the final line, written in a trembling scrawl, "They want their own memories now." Rowan slammed the journal shut, pulse hammering. The workshop suddenly felt too crowded, too warm, as though a dozen tiny bodies were breathing around him. That night, the house refused to stay still. Soft, dragging sounds echoed through the hallways. A doll he'd left on the table now sat upright on the floor, hands resting on its lap. In the kitchen, he found tiny porcelain footprints arranged like they were tracking someone. Worse, the Iris doll had been moved. It now sat in his bedroom doorway, head tilted, as if studying him. Rowan tried leaving, but every door led him back into the house. He circled through rooms in a loop that made no architectural sense. The dolls weren't just moving, they were guiding. Near midnight, he heard whispering, not words, but a subtle shifting, like ceramic brushing against ceramic. He followed the sound to the workshop. The dolls had arranged themselves around the Iris figure, filling the room like a silent choir. As Rowan backed away, something cold wrapped around his ankle. A porcelain hand, then another. They moved with terrifying purpose, pulling him toward the table. The Iris doll lifted its tiny hands, reaching for him with a tenderness that froze his blood. He saw then what lay behind its painted eyes. Someone trapped, conscious, waiting for release. Or replacement. Rowan tore free, sprinted into the hallway, and slammed the workshop door behind him. The tapping continued for hours, small hands scratching, knocking, begging. He barricaded himself in the upstairs bedroom until dawn. When sunlight finally poured in, the tapping stopped. The house grew still again, but when Rowan dared to check the workshop, the Iris doll was gone. Only a single message lay on the table, written in his aunt's shaky handwriting. "They remember you now.